God damn it, Kevin, lust already. Fuck. This is why nobody in Nathria General Chat likes you, and it's why your parents are getting a fucking divorce.
Thralls! Balls! They're everywhere!
Thralls Balls. The World of Warcraft podcast with a dirty mind and a clean behind. With your host, Wooly. What's up, swingers? I'm Wooly, and this is episode 7 of Thralls Balls. You might notice when you listen to this that I actually have fucking bumpers now. It's exciting. And the bumpers I made myself, and they're kind of intentionally shitty. That's at least what I'm saying. Yeah? Anyway, so this week is a solo show. There's a few reasons for that, chief among them being I had to help a friend on the day I normally record, so I did not know when I would be able to record. So it just seemed easier to keep it just to me, and then I can just do it when I have time. And now I have time, and then I'm going to be editing, whatever. Basically right after I start the show. Or stop the show. Shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. Anyway, what have I been up to this week? I've actually been spread around. Usually, lately, I've just been playing mostly my Horde character, but I did a bit of everything this week. So, my Horde Warlock, I went and geared him up because I wanted to get to 190, as was asked by the guild to be 190 before we go try to kill normal mode Sire Denathrius, but unfortunately the raid was cancelled because there were too many people who could not make it. Understandable. It is Memorial Day weekend. I did, however, get my legendary from 190 to 210, and I've just been, ratcheting it up as you do with the legendaries. Been working on getting the Soul Ash to continually upgrade it, so that's going to be a thing I keep doing. Also been trying to find a transmog I can be happy with, because my Horde Warlock is an orc, and orcs are fucking badass. I'm sort of thinking he would look good in the green reskin of the Necrolord campaign armor. Or rather, there is a set you can get for the campaign, but it's like, the one I'm looking at is green, and you get it from, I forget the actual name of it, but it's where you make your own abominations and all that shit. So I'm thinking I'm going to work on that. On the Alliance side, I decided that I need to farm up some Stygia, because I have been considering playing my warrior in 9.1 because I raided with him in Nathria on my Alliance guild, but the thing is, I'm not very good at warrior. I'm actually kind of shit, and I'm better at warlock. I prefer warlock. But I was going to go warrior because he's already at 211. So I'm like, But the good news is there is catch-up gear for alts available with purchase of using Stygia in 9.1. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that, get my warlock to 200. I might have to do a little more after that to try to get him a little more raid ready, because we try to get to heroic as quickly as we can. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Worst case scenario, I'll just keep playing my warrior. And then, I wasn't sure I was going to play it, but I have remade my OG warlock in Burning Crusade Classic, which I'm at least going to level to 70. That is what I'm going to do at the very least. Maybe step a foot in a raid or two. Mainly because I started playing during BC, and in fact it was really late in the expansion. I remember it was January 2008. It was right before the Sunwell opened. So I didn't get a whole lot of experience in BC. I kind of want to rectify that, see what was there when I was there that I didn't actually get to experience, I am boosted trash. Sorry, I boosted him. Sorry, everybody. But, I want to do the whole day one go through the portal thing, And it's going to take forever if I just decide to level up from 1. I would not make it in time for June 1st, bitches. So, it'll be all right. Every little thing's gonna be all right. Just like Bob Marley said. Wait, that was Bob Marley, right? Fuck, I don't know. So, I remade my original Warlock. He exists in Burning Crusade Classic. I play on Paggle. And yeah, we'll see what I do with that. Alright, let's get into the mixed drink of the week, because this shit has to stay cold, so I want to get into it quick. Here's the bumper. It's time for the mixed drink of the week. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! So before I mix the drink up, reminder to everybody, only drink if you're of legal age to do so. I'm not responsible for what you choose to do, but if you choose to partake in the mixed drink of the week, please do so legally and responsibly. I'm told it's important for me to make that clear. Anyway, this week's drink, I'm getting ahead. If you have paid attention, we've been going backwards through the classes, through the armor types. We finished up the Warlock, we finished up the Priest, and now we're on to the Mage. So, starting with the Mage, specifically the Frost Mage, today is Frostbolt. Oh yeah, that's right, fucking Frostbolt, and that's why everything is cold. So, what is in a Frostbolt, you may ask? First of all, here in my black hefty cup, I have ice cubes. I don't normally put ice cubes in my drinks because when they melt, they water shit down and it doesn't taste as good. But this shit has to be cold. So we've got ice cubes. We have light blue Gatorade. So we're going to put about... Oh, fuck. We're going to fill about half the cup up with the light blue Gatorade. Alright, that's enough. And no, I am not one to say the names of the Gatorade, as I previously established. Shout back to the fucking, I believe it was the Chaos Bolt, episode number 1. If you say the name, you're a cop. So this is light blue, but it does have a very icy name to it. I'm not going to say it, though, because I'm not a goddamn cop. Oh, yeah. So we've got half of the cup with light blue Gatorade. Then... another half the cup with... what I've got is 7-Up. Oh. I might have overdid the Gatorade. But that's alright. So we've got light blue Gatorade. We've got 7-Up. And I do feel like I've been using vodka too much in these, but it made sense to go with vodka. So we've got Sky Vodka, 1 shot. And you all know already, I like to make my drinks a little snazzy. I like to put a little twist on them. So, since this is the Frostbolt, there's some snow. No, it's not cocaine. What I did, I took a few wintergreen altoids and I crushed them all up. And I made snow out of them. So that's got 2 purposes to it. It makes shit snowy, 1. But 2, you know how, like, if you drink something cold after you've had a mint and it just tastes extra cold? Yeah, that's what I'm going for. And originally I wanted to call this drink Icy Veins, but it just didn't work grammatically. Stirring. Alright, so now I'm going to give it a proper sip because it didn't count before. Here we go! Over the lips, through the gums, look out, asshole! Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. I've done better. And, I don't want to spoil anything, but next week's drink I'm expecting to incorporate actual fire. So I might blow this one out of the water. But, Frostbolt, not bad. Not bad. You could do worse. It is not the best drink I've made so far on this show, but it will do. So a reminder, the Frostbolt is light blue Gatorade, some sort of white soda, in this case 7-Up, vodka, in this case Sky Vodka, 1 shot, and snow in the form of crushed up wintergreen altoids. I'm going to go ahead and say the ice cubes are optional. And there's another optional step to this that I really wanted to have, but couldn't procure. I wanted to have a very small piece of dry ice to make like a little foggy, misty thing coming out of it. But turns out dry ice is kind of hard to get. I wasn't able to get some. And that actually prompts me to say this. If you're able to get dry ice and you make this drink, or you make any drink with dry ice in it, dry ice can cause injury if you make direct contact with your skin. If you, it's not like if you tap it, oh god, I'm gonna die. It's like, if you choose to put this in your drink and then accidentally swallow it, you could hurt yourself. So, if you're gonna put this in your drink, maybe drink it with a straw so you don't swallow it. It's not toxic to put it in your drink, but avoid swallowing it, avoid touching it with your tongue. Just try to avoid touching it. Bring a little anarchy into your life. Now, for legal reasons, I again am going to say, don't fucking do that. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not responsible for it if you choose to do it. Anyway, that's the Frostbolt. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick picture of this, because it's not up yet, but I will be making a Thralls Balls Instagram pretty soon here. I'd like to have pictures of the drinks. Although the picture I just took, the snow I put on top, looks a lot like mold. Fuck. Oh well. They'll be fine. Let's move on to the WoW news, why don't we?
Time for WoW news, motherfuckers.
Alright, so first thing I want to cover here in the news is Blizzard put out this really fun and a little bit cheesy video with a song called Ode to Returning Heroes. It's all about people going in to play BC Classic, remembering the old times from BC back in the day. And, you know, come on, it's campy and it's cheesy and it's meant to be stupid, and it's absolutely stupid, and I love it. Anyway, the link for the YouTube video for that is in the show notes. That's all I'm really going to say about it. Moving on, the Great Push, the unfortunately named Mythic Dungeon. What's the word you want to use? Contest? Tournament? Whatever. The Great Push Tournament has concluded day 3, with Echo pushing into first place with a score of 157. And let's be clear, I believe day 3 is the last of the days, so that makes Echo the winner. Moving on from that, though. Well, not moving on, it's the same thing. Fucking Skyline, Ambition, and Sheesh with 3 E's are all tied with a score of 156. So while I'm not really sure how the scoring works, maybe there's some kind of like tiebreaker thing, or maybe there's other factors that determine like a secondary score, like seeding or whatever. I don't know. But that means that there's 3 tied at 156 if there's nothing extra like that. So if you want to watch the 6-hour day 3 replay, there is a link to it in the show notes down below. I'm probably going to put it on when I go to bed, you know, just let it lull me to sleep as I watch people who are way better at this game than I will ever be do things that I will not be able to do. Up next on the block, EU players, as in European Union, that does include UK people, even though Brexit, whatever. They have been unable to redeem their original Burning Crusade Collector's Edition codes. Meaning they still had the code hanging around from when they had the original Collector's Edition for Burning Crusade. Now, I imagine there's not that many people out there who have that code, who are trying to use it, who haven't already used it. But there's been enough that it's been reported that people haven't been able to use it. And the reason for this is, back in the day, there were some extra steps they had to do. Keep in mind, this was 2007. Yeah, we were all over the internet and shit, but we didn't have necessarily the tools available to us that we have now. So, they had to send mail with the Collector's Edition loot card, Collector's Edition barcode, and a printed copy of their account management page. Like, that's just strange to me. They had to send that to the Blizzard office in Versailles. Or is it Versailles? I don't know. I'm not French. Versailles, I think. To have their Burning Crusade Collector's Edition added to their account. That just seems maddeningly, inconvenient. But even so, that's no longer an option because the Versailles office has been closed in the past couple years. And, it doesn't seem at the moment there's a way to bypass this. And obviously this doesn't affect me because, I live in America and I don't have a Burning Crusade Collector's Edition. But I still feel for the I imagine a small amount of people affected by this because, they had the thing and it's 2021. Sure, they had a lot of time to do it before the option didn't exist anymore, but we have BC Classic now, so it's relevant again, in my opinion, to have this. So Blizzard should find a way to honor these things somehow. I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor. Link to the Wowhead article is in the show notes about this, so maybe somebody out there is smarter than I am and knows what the hell's going on, because I sure as fuck don't. I'm just sitting here telling you what I read in an article, forming an opinion based on something I might be wrong about, because I am what you call a cotton-headed ninny-muggins. Yeah. Moving on, I haven't, but we as a community have seen the Sylvanas Fight on Heroic in the upcoming Chains of Domination patch with, what the hell's the raid called? Sanctum of Domination. I'm not really going to go into this because there's spoilers and such. There's some story-based spoilers. There's some gameplay-based spoilers as far as the encounter itself. And I know there's some people out there who just like to go to an encounter, figure it out on their own. The majority don't, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So, I'm just going to include the link to the Wowhead article that breaks it all down. Remember, it's still PTR, so there are things that can change, and some probably will. For a little bit of a recap about this, though, well, maybe not a recap, but I did mention previously that Sylvanas drops a legendary bow, Ray Shalare, I don't know how it's pronounced. Still no word on whether or not hunters who can get that will also be able to use, their crafted legendaries that we've had this system going for. We'll just have to wait and see. So Blizzard is also putting up a sweepstakes to give away a custom, what they call it as a Fel build PC. I don't know. I read the specs and this PC looks fucking awesome. There are details on how to enter it in the Wowhead article that I'll link. But before I get into the specs of the machine, I'm going to read the eligibility first because I don't want to tell you how cool this machine is and then shit all over your parade. Although some people like having shit parades. Anyway, this contest or sweepstakes or whatever is only open to permanent legal residents of the 50 states or the District of Columbia, and you have to be currently physically located in and residing in one of those 50 states. So I imagine that does include Hawaii and Alaska. So cool. Kind of shitty for the rest of the world. I'm sorry, guys. At the very least, I don't see why Canada can't be a part of it, but there's probably some rule I'm not privy to. I don't know. So, furthermore, you have to be 18 or older as of the date you enter. You have to have a valid social security number and or a valid U.S. individual taxpayer ID number. There's a phone number you call to enter that'll be on the article. I haven't entered because my PC, it's starting to get up there, but it's still running really well, and I don't want to take up an entry spot for somebody who might have more of a need than I do. Also because I'm lazy. Too lazy to dial a phone number. Whatever. So the specs of this thing, are you ready for this? It comes with an AMD Ryzen 9 5950X 16-core processor. You might as well just slap a big overkill sign on the side of this machine. It's got a 1 gigabyte Aorus, I've never heard of that. X570 Extreme motherboard. I don't know shit about MOBOs, but there you go. An NZXT Kraken Z73 graphics card. Again, don't know shit about all these things, but that's not the only graphics card in the machine. Spoilers. There is also an ASRock RX 6800 XT 16GB graphics card. That'll mean something to somebody. I don't fucking know what it means. Honestly, the reason I think this machine looks so cool is because who the hell needs 16 cores? Not me, but I'll take them, you know? Anyway. So it comes with a Corsair Dominator Platinum, 64 gigabytes of RAM, and when I say a Corsair, that was just because I didn't read the end of the line and didn't realize I was talking about the RAM yet. 64 gigs of RAM? What the hell are you doing with 64 gigs of RAM? It's got a Samsung 980 Pro 2TB NVMe solid-state drive, Generation 4, a Mushkin 2TB NVMe solid-state drive, Lian Li Uni fans. I don't know anything about what the various types of fans are, but I think these light up, and there's 5 of them for the machine. That's actually kind of strange, because it has... I'm pretty sure it has liquid cooling. I don't know enough about computers. So liquid cooling with fans, I don't really know. Whatever. It comes with custom sleeved cables and tubing, Fantex vertical PGU mount, and PCIe 4.0 riser, Strix 1000 watt platinum power supply, HyperX keyboard, mouse, and mouse pad, and I don't know why they felt the need to include this, but because it seems like it's pretty much a given, but it has Windows 10 Pro. Now, I don't know about you fuckers, but take everything else out. That Windows 10 Pro, that's what I want. That's what I'm signing up for. Give me the fucking Windows 10. I fucking hate Windows 10, dude. Dude, revert everything back to fucking XP and just rebuild that. Not to go on a tangent, but XP was the pinnacle of Windows operating systems, and anyone who disagrees is a goddamn communist. Yeah, I went there with it. So that is the specs of that machine. Again, you can enter by calling a phone number that's in the WoW article that is linked in the show notes. Sorry if you're not American. I don't know why they have chosen to exclude you, but I imagine there's got to be some kind of corporate reason or something. So, side note, I need to trim my mustache because when I drink out of this cup, I get it all over my mustache. It's like I got a wet stash, and it's uncomfortable. Anyway, okay, next news thing. Blizzard, I'm going to end up just reading this blue post, but they are reverting Oceanic Realm connections for PvP in BC Classic. I'll just read the post, alright? Yesterday, we opened up region-wide PvP matchmaking for Oceanic players to ensure that all players in this region who compete for records actually play against one another. Following that update, however, we heard loud and clear from players who know how it feels to play on distant servers. High latency is not worth the upsides of potentially smoother matchmaking. With weekly maintenance on Tuesday, June 1st, 10 o'clock p.m. AWST, midnight AEST, 2 o'clock a.m. June 2nd NZDT. I'm assuming that last one's New Zealand? We will revert this change. We're committed to providing a responsive, enjoyable game to players in every part of the world, and we will pay careful attention to PvP on Oceanic Realms over the first few weeks of the first season of Arena Play. We're looking for ways to improve matchmaking and players' ability to rank up without introducing unbearable lag. We don't want to permanently implement a region-wide reward system where some of the players never play against the others. We'll have an update on that for you in the weeks to come. Thank you very much. That is one challenge I am very glad I do not have to think about. I often feel quite badly for Oceanic players because they just get fucked. Either you play on American servers and you have latency issues, or you try to play on Oceanic servers and nobody's fucking there. I am so sorry, Aussies and New Zealanders and anyone else in that region. You get boned, and it's not right. It's not right. I'm sorry, and I hope that can be made better. Now, for something kind of sad, there was an add-on developer who has passed away. Rest in peace to John Sylvanas Fight. I really hope I've said his last name right. But he was a developer working on such add-ons as Prat Add-on Control Panel and WoW Instant Messenger, which actually, WoW Instant Messenger is very widely used among my old guild Convert to Raid. I know it's an important tool that they use specifically. I better not say. They probably don't want their reasoning for some of the things they use out there. But between that and Prat specifically and the add-on control panel, he has touched a lot of technology that you've probably used. There isn't really any word on whether or not his add-on projects will be taken over to ensure their continuation, but some already have assisting contributors, and others even have unofficially been maintained through the open source repositories that they can find the information in. John was pretty well known for his open source work, and it's just sad. You know, it doesn't say anything here. I only read the WoW article because I didn't feel like I needed to dig very deeply into this, but it doesn't tell me how old he was. It doesn't tell me what he died of, and I think it's best to just keep it that way. I think it could do harm to speculate online, because people will come up with all kinds of random-ish, like, oh, he was into such and such, or whatever. Just, you know, be nice, you know? Be respectful. Outside of WoW, he was also the principal developer of some mobile apps, and even an alumnus of the University of Texas at Austin. That's a pretty big deal, because a lot of developers go through UT, and Blizzard actually has an office there. So I feel like if he had, I don't know if he ever did any work for Blizzard, but I feel like if he had wanted to, he very easily could have. So a big rest in peace to you, Sylvanas, Mr. John Akhtar, I don't know. But may your family find peace in these troubled times. Moving on, there has been officially announced there will be no BlizzCon in 2021. There was a blue post made about it. I'll have a link again to the Wowhead article. And as disappointed as I am, I have to say that's the right call. There is months and months and months and months of prep and planning and phone calls and meetings and all kinds of shit that go into planning an event like BlizzCon. And let's just say, honestly, even if October and November were to roll around and it would feel like it's safe, which it very well might, the fact is, if they were to start it, if they were to start planning for it, I feel like we might have talked about this on the last episode, I don't remember for sure, but they would already be behind. So, it's not going to happen, partly because the planning was too much in the air, partly because they'd be behind, and partly because if they get to the day that it's supposed to happen and suddenly the pandemic has somehow gotten worse since then, they're out millions of dollars. It's the right call. And it's also the right call to not have that many people congregate before this thing is over. Completely and officially over. Now, that all said, they are planning a smaller event in early 2022 that's similar to BlizzCon Line. And there is the potential for small in-person gatherings for those. They have not given a whole lot of detail about that. In fact, everything I just said is all we know about it. So look for information about that. I'm wondering what this means for announcement for the next expansion, though, because following that every 2-year thing, they would be announcing one at a BlizzCon that would happen this year. Does that mean that they're going to do some kind of update video thing, or are they going to hold it to the next event? Because we all know that we're behind on Shadowlands right now. Thanks, COVID, you asshole. Fuck COVID. And, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Now, in the same vein, Blizzard has signed on to be one of 35 presenters at Summer Game Fest 2021. I don't exactly know when they're going live on there, but I do know that Summer Game Fest kicks off at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time on June 10th, so it's actually pretty close here. And I don't know what the hell Blizzard's going to get up there and talk about. It's not necessarily WoW related, although the Wowhead article did point out that there were 2 data mined mounts that looked to be some sort of alliance or horde reward. I forget the names of them. So we don't know where those are coming from, but I think it's more likely that they're going to talk about like Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4, something like that. Because if it were their own event, they would have as much time as they want to give themselves, but it's not their event, so they might have to hyper-focus it. That is it for the WoW news. Let's go on to Question of the Week.
Question, the week.
So, last week I asked, if it were up to you, what would the next expansion be? We got some answers. We got them on the Discord. We got none in email this time, but that's fine. We got one on Twitter. And I'm going to reiterate this at the end. When you want to answer the question of the week, the best place to do it is in Discord. Alternatively, you can email us, thrallsballspodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at thrallsballspod. So, Slide Whistle says, now, I know nobody wants to deal with time or time traveling again after Warlords, but I think it's time the Infinite Dragonflight came back around to clean our clocks. I like that. Nosdormu finally goes nutso, and we come back from the Shadowlands to a chronologically altered Azeroth. I don't know what you'd call it, though. Sands of Time, Clockstoppers 2. Did anybody watch Clockstoppers? It's a super forgettable movie that was just so dumb, but I liked it. Anyway, I love this idea, Slide. I really, really do. I don't see them doing that yet, but I'd like to visit that at some point. Vanderlyle says, I like the dating sim idea. Let's call it World of Warcraft Boogie Nights. There are 4 new covenants to join: Doms, Subs, Furries, and necrophiliacs. Vanderlyle, what the fuck? With not just player housing, but player bordellos and player sex dungeons. We have to grind virility power to empower our chastity belt artifacts. What in the hell am I reading? The new profession is prostitution, where gold earned is only applicable to buying WoW tokens, because one way or another you're going to get fucked. As a response to this, Immune says, complete rework of the leatherworking profession incoming. I had to include that, too funny. Bentolis says, something where the Alliance are the bad guys, like Gen and Tyrande going on a murderous rampage. Isn't Tyrande already on a murderous rampage? Well, I suppose it's more about, like, vengeance and shit. And all I really know is she's killed a bunch of Horde and, like, cut Nathanos' head off. Immune says, it's been discussed for a while, but I agree that a Dragon Isles expansion would be cool. Yes, it fucking would. We could even combine this with Slide's theory of the Infinite Dragonflight returning while we are in the Shadowlands and taking over Azeroth. Fuck, dude, you know what? I'm reversing what I said a few minutes ago. Let's fucking do it. Let's get back into Azeroth, and the whole world is turned flop upside down, and it's gonna take a minute. Just sit right there. I'll kick you in the balls. I don't know. Aaron says, the next expansion should be called Reclamation. Reclamation? I don't know how to pronounce that. And would focus on how the Horde and Alliance battling foes and maybe each other a bit to reclaim old stolen zones. Undercity, Gilneas, the Deadlands, etc. Change up the map of Azeroth after this decade of staying the same. I don't know if I want to get to know a new map again. Gotta be honest, it was cool when they did it for Cataclysm, but it was also a huge pain in the ass, because the thing most people don't remember about when Cataclysm launched is that map rework, that world rework took up so much resources and shit that when the expansion launched, there was this feeling of, oh, is this it? Oh, okay. Because we didn't get a new class. I guess we did get new race class combinations, and that was kind of cool. But something like that takes up a lot, and then you don't necessarily end up getting, like, the secondary things like a new race or a new class. Though there is an argument to be made that we don't need a new race and class right now. I like the idea, though. Let's, like, turn on a box fan in Undercity or whatever, blow all the gas away, and somebody throw a broom at Gilneas and shit. Let's do it. Let's get it going. Now, I was going to have an answer ready, and little old me forgot to think of one. So I'm going to try to make one up on the spot. What would my expansion be? I don't know what I'd call it, and I don't necessarily know what the central plot would be. Actually, you know what? No, I don't know what I would call it, but it would be the Light vs. Void expansion that has been sort of rumored for years now, that I think is pretty much an inevitability at this point. I would want Terralion and Illyria to be at best morally gray. See what I did there? And they've been doing some shit. They've been scrambling orc brains. And there would be... This would change the game forever, so it might be a terrible idea, but not subclasses, but like a multi-class system. Like if you're a warrior, you could multi-class into mage, but only up to like a certain level of power or something. So like you'd still be a warrior, but you could cast spells. You'd be like a spellblade kind of thing. Or if you're a warlock, you could also be, I don't know, a rogue, so you can go stealth and then throw a fucking chaos bolt at somebody from stealth and it breaks your stealth. And I don't know, I think it would be neat. I'm not a game developer. I don't know what it would take to balance that, but I like the idea. And then like the big bad for that, I guess, would be like, I guess we don't know anybody who would be a big bad for that. They would have to come up with something. I like that. Anyway, new question for next week. So, you know how some of the Hearthstones, or the toys you get from like the Covenants that replace the Hearthstone, have like a visual effect? Like the Venthyr, it's got this like red Sinstone swooshing around you. Or the Dark Portal Hearthstone, it makes like a dark portal appear around you. What visual effect would your Hearthstone have? You can submit your answers on Twitter at ThrallsBallsPod, via email to thrallsballspodcast@gmail.com, or again, submit answers on the Thralls Balls Discord server in the link in the fucking show notes and on the Twitter server, or Twitter page. And I guess, guys, that is all I've got for you today. I've tended to notice that the solo episodes are a little bit shorter. I am still on the hunt for a co-host. I would like to have both Bentolis and Gershom on again at some point each. I'm also open to having more people come on, try things out. And you know, I might not even stop it at one co-host. Maybe make this a 3-person show. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? If you would be at all interested, get at me. You can tweet at me directly if you want about it. I am at Wooly08, 2 O's, 2 L's. And a Y. I've seen some people spell it with an IE, so it's WOOLLY08. You can also, as I said a few seconds ago, reach out on the show's Twitter, at ThrallsBallsPod. If you're curious about it, you can email us at thrallsballspodcast@gmail.com. Once again, guys, join the Discord. You can join in there, be a swinger on the official server, y'all. Fuck yeah. And that link is, again, in the show notes. And I believe that about covers it. So thank you all very much for listening, and I guess we will see you next week. Bye-bye.